The year was 2487. For more than 2 centuries, Earth had lived in peace. There were no wars, no hunger, and no reason to fear the unknown. But that peace ended on a quiet Monday morning, when the sky itself began to change. At first, people thought it was just a storm. Strange clouds appeared thick, glowing silver clouds that pulsed with blue light. Within minutes, every city on Earth saw it. The air smelled like burned metal. Animals ran wild, sensors failed, and then, every satellite in orbit picked up the same thing: something massive was coming. From the cold darkness of space, hundreds of ships appeared. They were unlike anything humans had ever built. Smooth, curved, and shining like liquid mercury. No markings. No signals. No words. Just silence. Inside the Earth Defense Command Center, alarms screamed. Commander Ethan Cole stood in front of the main holodisplay, watching the alien fleet move closer. Ethan was in his late 30s, sharp eyes, calm voice, and a mind trained for crisis. Around him, dozens of officers shouted reports and orders, but he didn't move. He just stared. "Status?" he asked quietly. A young officer replied, "Unknown ships, sir. 206 total. No communication. They're forming an attack pattern. Any weapons detected? Energy signatures, yes, sir. High power levels." Ethan's jaw tightened. "They're charging up." Every nation on Earth saw the same thing. Panic spread fast. Civilian networks went dark as global defense systems came online. Giant orbital cannons turned toward the fleet. The United Earth President gave one command: do not fire unless fired upon. But fear filled every screen. Reporters screamed about invasion. Families hid underground. Soldiers prayed. Everyone waited for the first shot. On board the command ship Horizon, Ethan's crew prepared for the worst. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Marcus Hill, walked up beside him. Marcus was tall, bold, and had a habit of making jokes in the darkest moments. "So, we're doing this again," Marcus said, forcing a grin. Ethan didn't smile. "This time, I'm not sure we'll walk away." Then it happened. One of the alien ships larger than the rest broke formation. It drifted forward slowly. Everyone expected it to fire. The ship's energy readings spiked higher and higher. Then suddenly, it exploded. The blast lit the sky. The shock wave hit Horizon hard, shaking the entire ship. Alarms blared, sparks flew, and Ethan's crew shouted over one another. "What the hell was that?" Marcus yelled. "No idea," the sensor officer screamed. "The others, they're breaking apart too." One by one, the alien ships began to flicker and fade. Their lights went dark. Their energy cores failed. Within minutes, almost the entire fleet was silent, dead in space. The command room went quiet. Ethan stepped closer to the screen, his reflection glowing blue in the display light. "They didn't fire," he whispered. "They're not attacking." Sarah Blake, a young xenobiologist working in the science division, spoke softly from her station. "Commander, I'm reading strange signals from inside their ships. Life signs are dropping fast." "Dropping?" Ethan repeated. "They're dying," Sarah said. "All of them." Everyone stared at her in shock. "Dying? From what?" Marcus asked. "I don't know," she replied, her voice shaking. "But it's spreading. Whatever's killing them, it's fast." On the world below, news channels celebrated. People cheered, thinking Earth had been saved. The alien invasion was over before it began. The skies cleared, and the threat seemed gone. But Ethan Cole didn't celebrate. Something felt wrong. He looked again at the drifting alien ships. They weren't burning. They weren't destroyed by human weapons. They were just, lifeless. Empty. He leaned toward the comms officer. "Any signals from the alien fleet? Any distress calls?" "Negative, sir." "Nothing." Ethan frowned. "That doesn't make sense. If they were attacking, why stop? Why die all at once?" Sarah's voice came again, low and uncertain. "Commander, it's possible this wasn't an attack. Maybe they were, escaping something." Ethan turned toward her. "Escaping what?" She hesitated. "I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it might still be out there." The words hung in the air like ice. Outside, the alien fleet floated silently above Earth, their once bright ships now cold and dark. In the distance, the sun rose over the curve of the planet, lighting the wreckage in gold. To the people on the ground, it looked like victory. To Ethan, it looked like a warning. He stood at the main viewport, his eyes fixed on the remains of the Valorian fleet, the name humanity would soon give them. Hundreds of ships, empty and drifting, like ghosts in the black sea of space. "Sir," Marcus said quietly. "Should we send a recovery team?" Ethan didn't answer right away. He watched as one of the smaller ships slowly cracked open, releasing a faint blue mist into the void. The mist glowed for a few seconds, then faded into nothing. Finally, Ethan spoke. "Yes," he said. "Send a team. And make sure Dr. Blake is with them. I want answers." Marcus looked uneasy. "You think it's safe?" Ethan shook his head. "No. But we can't stay blind. Not now." He turned to face his crew. "Listen to me," he said firmly. "Do not let fear control you. We need to know what happened up there. Those ships didn't come to fight us, something else killed them. And if it's still out there," he paused, eyes narrowing. "Then Earth may be next." A heavy silence filled the room. Then Ethan gave his final order. "Prepare the horizon for close approach." As the ship began to move toward the alien wreckage, the crew watched in silence. No one spoke. No one celebrated anymore. The unknown was waiting out there, quiet, patient, and deadly. And deep inside Commander Ethan Cole's mind, one thought kept echoing. They feared us, but maybe we should be the ones afraid. The recovery team launched from the horizon at sunrise. The small shuttle glided toward the nearest alien ship, its silver hull reflecting Earth's light below. Inside the shuttle sat Dr. Sarah Blake, Lieutenant Marcus Hill, and two engineers in white protective suits. Commander Ethan Cole watched from the main control room, his voice calm through the comms. "Stay sharp," he said. "We don't know what killed them. No mistakes." Sarah nodded, her voice steady but low. "Understood, Commander. We'll bring back answers." As the shuttle entered the alien ship's hangar, everything went silent. The walls were smooth, shining like liquid glass. Strange symbols glowed faintly on every surface. But there was no movement, no sound, just a cold stillness that made everyone's breath slow. Marcus shined his light forward. "Creepy place. Feels like a grave." Sarah stepped closer to a control panel, scanning it with her wrist device. "No power. No life signs nearby. Whatever happened here was sudden." They turned a corner and froze. Dozens of alien bodies lay across the floor. The Valorians were tall, slender beings with metallic blue skin and long, thin faces. Their eyes, once bright silver, were dull and empty now. Their bodies were dry and cracked, as if all moisture had vanished. Marcus whispered, "God, what did this?" Sarah knelt beside one of the bodies and touched her scanner to its chest. No wounds. No burns. Energy levels near zero. "Energy levels?" Marcus asked. She nodded. "These beings run on bioenergy, almost like electricity inside the body. Something drained it all out fast." Back on the horizon, Ethan listened carefully. Could it be a weapon? Some kind of energy pulse? Sarah shook her head, even though he couldn't see her. "No. It's organic. It's moving like a virus." The word virus made everyone go silent. Sarah connected her scanner to a nearby console, downloading alien data. Lines of symbols flashed before turning into readable text. She frowned. "Commander, this file repeats the same phrase, containment failure." Ethan leaned forward. "Containment of what?" Before she could answer, Marcus's sensor alarm beeped loudly. His visor lit up red. "What now?" he asked. "Your arm scanner." Sarah shouted. "It's detecting unknown particles on your suit." Marcus looked down. A faint blue mist swirled around his gloves, the same color they saw leak from the ship earlier. He quickly pulled back, brushing it off, but it vanished into his suit fabric. "Is it inside?" he asked, panic rising. Sarah's voice trembled. "I don't know. Get back to the shuttle, now." They ran through the corridor, boots echoing against metal floors. The blue mist seemed to move after them, crawling like smoke, alive with purpose. Ethan's voice came through the comms. Status report. Possible contamination. Sarah gasped. We're coming back immediately. Inside the command deck, Ethan ordered the quarantine door sealed before the shuttle even docked. Medical teams waited in full protective gear. When the hatch opened, Sarah stumbled out first, holding a sample container glowing faintly blue. Marcus followed, breathing hard, eyes wide. I'm fine, he said quickly, but his hands were shaking. Ethan approached carefully. No one touches them, he warned. Full isolation. Hours passed. The ship's medlab filled with tension. Sarah worked behind thick glass walls, scanning the sample she brought. The glowing mist twisted under the microscope, changing shape again and again. It's not like any virus I've seen, she said into the comms. It's energy-based alive, but not biological. It feeds on power, on motion, maybe even thought. Ethan frowned. You're saying it feeds on life itself? Yes, she whispered. That's how the Velorians died. Marcus sat behind the glass, restless. So what about me? You gonna tell me if I'm turning into one of them? Sarah forced a weak smile. You're stable for now. The human immune system is reacting, but not like theirs. It's fighting back slowly. Fighting back, Marcus repeated. Guess being human still counts for something. Ethan crossed his arms. Doctor, can it spread? Sarah hesitated. I don't know. If it escapes containment, it could reach the air systems. Ethan turned to his crew. Seal off the lower decks. No one leaves quarantine until I say so. Moments later, the ship's lights flickered. The engines dimmed for half a second. Report. Ethan shouted. The engineer replied, power drop across all systems. Something's draining our energy. Sarah's eyes widened. Commander, it's the virus. It's feeding. Through the medlab window, the blue mist inside the sample container began to expand, pressing against the glass. Tiny sparks danced along its surface like electricity. Then crack. The container shattered. The mist rushed outward, swirling like a storm. Alarms screamed. Ethan slammed the emergency seal, locking Sarah and Marcus inside. Ethan. Sarah shouted. Don't. I can contain it. You'll contain nothing if it kills everyone, he said. The mist crawled along the ceiling, touching metal panels that dimmed instantly. Sarah grabbed a portable scanner, her hands trembling. It reacts to energy, maybe light. She turned on a bright ultraviolet lamp. The mist recoiled, shrieking in a high-pitched hum. It hates this frequency, she yelled. Good, Marcus said, grabbing another lamp. Let's give it something to hate. They switched on all the lights. The mist shuddered and retreated into a corner, shrinking until it faded again. Silence filled the room. Sarah leaned against the wall, exhausted. It's contained, for now. Ethan's voice came through the speaker, calm but heavy. Good work, Doctor. But we're not safe yet. That thing came from somewhere, and if the Velorians brought it here. Sarah looked at the glowing remains of the mist inside her scanner. Then it's already on Earth. The words hit everyone like a bullet. Ethan stared at the planet below his home, shining blue and peaceful in the distance. He whispered to himself, they died running from this. And now it's our turn. As the horizon drifted through orbit, lights flickering weakly, no one spoke again. The alien fleet outside remained silent, dead monuments to a mystery humanity had just begun to understand. And somewhere, deep in the shadows of space, the blue light began to move again. For 2 long days, the horizon remained in orbit above Earth under full lockdown. No one entered or left the ship. Quarantine signs flashed across every deck. Fear spread faster than orders could control it. Inside the med lab, Dr. Sarah Blake hadn't slept. Her hair was messy, eyes red, but she didn't stop working. The faint blue particles she captured earlier floated in a sealed containment tube, glowing like fireflies. She spoke into her recorder softly. Sample appears stable under ultraviolet exposure. Attempts to classify it as a virus or nanomachine have failed. It's something new. From the quarantine room beside her, Lieutenant Marcus Hill sat on his bed, half bored, half afraid. His left arm, where the mist had touched him, still glowed faintly blue under his skin. How's my arm, Doc? He called out. Sarah looked up through the glass wall. Still glowing, Still alive. But you're not dying, and that's the good part. He smirked weakly. Great. So I'm glowing and alive. What more could a guy want? She smiled faintly but didn't laugh. Her screen flashed, new data appeared. Commander, are you there? She asked through the comms. Commander Ethan Cole's voice came over the speaker, calm and tired. I'm here. Tell me something good. I found access logs from the alien mainframe, she said. Their system used light-based memory storage. It's damaged, but I can read parts of it. Can you translate it? Yes, sir. I'm trying now. The alien language appeared as lines of silver symbols dancing across her screen. Slowly, the translation software replaced them with English words. Ethan watched from his command chair, leaning forward. The first sentence read, containment failed. Requesting refuge. Human world may hold the cure. Ethan's expression changed. Refuge. Sarah nodded slowly. They weren't coming to attack us. They were coming for help. The control room went silent. Officers stared at their screens in disbelief. Run that again, Ethan said. Sarah replayed the audio file embedded in the alien message. It was faint and broken, but a voice metallic, trembling spoke through static. To any listening species, this is the Velorian fleet. We flee the hunger. It feeds on light, on energy, on life. We seek sanctuary on the human homeworld. You are our last hope. Marcus sat up. They came here for help? And we nearly shot them down. Ethan's voice was quiet. We feared them before we even knew them. Sarah continued reading the logs. They called the thing that killed them the hunger. It destroyed 3 of their worlds. Every time they jumped to a new system, it followed them, feeding on their energy. So the blue mist is this hunger, Ethan said. Yes. But there's more. Sarah's voice softened. They believed humans might be immune because of our unique bioelectrical pattern. They thought we could stop it? Marcus looked down at his glowing arm. Then why didn't they just talk to us? Sarah replied, maybe they tried. But their signal frequencies were outside our range. We saw weapons. They were trying to surrender. The room fell quiet again. Ethan exhaled slowly. We destroyed what little trust they had left. They feared us because they thought we'd kill them before listening. Sarah looked into her microscope again. And now their fear was right. Ethan stood up. Not yet. We still have survivors on their main ship. We'll board it at dawn. Sarah blinked. Commander, that's dangerous. If the hunger spread there, it could. He interrupted gently. I know. But if they came here for help, then I'll be damned if we don't try to give it. The next day, the horizon approached the largest Velorian ship still intact, a colossal sphere half the size of a city. Its surface shimmered faintly with blue light, pulsing like a dying heart. A small boarding team formed, Ethan, Sarah, and 2 security officers in full bio-sealed suits. Marcus insisted on joining, but Ethan refused. You're infected, Ethan said. You're staying here. Marcus gave a half-smile. Guess I'll keep the lights on for you. Inside the Velorian ship, silence reigned. Floating debris shimmered in the air like dust frozen in time. They passed through a long corridor filled with transparent pods, each holding an alien, unmoving. Sarah checked one. They're alive, but weak. Suspended in some kind of stasis. Ethan tapped the ship's central console. Can we wake them? Before Sarah could respond, the console lit up by itself. A hologram appeared, a tall Velorian figure, glowing silver, its voice soft and full of sorrow. If you are hearing this, then we have failed. The hunger cannot be destroyed. Only humans resist it. Your world is light that it cannot eat. Save yourselves, and if you can, save us too. The hologram flickered out. Sarah whispered, they were dying, but they still believed in us. Ethan looked around at the rows of silent pods. They feared us because we were strong. But maybe that's exactly why they came here. Suddenly, his comms crackled. Marcus's voice came through, urgent. Commander. You need to get back now? The hunger, it's moving again. Power levels are dropping ship-wide. Ethan turned towards Sarah. We're out of time. Grab what data you can and get back to the shuttle. They ran through the corridor as blue light began creeping across the walls. The air shimmered like heat waves. The mist was alive again, flowing toward them. Sarah grabbed a small crystal drive from the main console and ran after Ethan. Behind them, alien stasis pods began to open one by one. Some Velorians gasped weakly for air, others didn't move at all. Ethan shouted, "Go, go, go." They jumped into the shuttle and launched just as the entire Velorian ship started glowing. The blue light spread through its hull, and within moments, the ship collapsed in on itself silent, like a star dying in reverse. As the shuttle reconnected to the horizon, Ethan stared out the window. "We were too late to save them," he said quietly. Sarah held up the crystal drive. "Maybe not. This contains their full research. If we study it, maybe we can save what's left." Ethan looked at her, his expression steady. "Then that's what we'll do." He turned back to the stars. The wreckage of the alien ship floated like ashes across the void. And somewhere, beneath his calm voice, one truth grew stronger in his heart. They feared us for our strength, but soon, our strength would be the only thing that could save them. 3 days had passed since the mission to the Velorian mothership. The data crystal that Dr. Sarah Blake recovered now sat in a glass container inside the Horizon's main lab. Its surface pulsed with faint blue light, alive, mysterious, waiting to be understood. Sarah hadn't left the lab since the rescue. Her fingers moved fast across the console, translating alien code, comparing human and Velorian biology, searching for the answer. Outside the window, Earth shone bright, peaceful, unaware of the storm above it. Commander Ethan Cole entered quietly. His eyes were tired, his uniform still covered in dust from the mission. "Any luck?" he asked. Sarah sighed. "I found something, but it's hard to believe." She turned the screen toward him. "The Velorians tried to make a cure using their own energy patterns. It failed. But look, human DNA reacts differently. It slows the virus down." Ethan frowned. "So we're resistant?" "Not exactly," she said. "We're adaptable. Our cells learn faster than the hunger can evolve. That's why Marcus is still alive." Ethan nodded slowly. "If we can isolate that reaction, maybe we can stop it?" Sarah looked up, eyes burning with determination. "We can save them, Commander. All of them." Before Ethan could reply, the door slid open. Lieutenant Marcus Hill walked in, still pale but standing. "I heard my name," he said with a grin. "You two talking about my good looks again?" Sarah smiled faintly. "You shouldn't be up." He shrugged. "Couldn't sleep. Everyone's scared down there. They think the hunger's going to reach Earth next." Ethan glanced out the window at the silent wreckage of alien ships. "Maybe it already has." At that moment, an urgent alarm flashed red across the room. "Incoming transmission from Earth Command." Ethan answered the call. The hologram of Admiral Lawson, an older man with a harsh face and iron-gray beard, appeared. "Commander Cole," the Admiral said coldly. "You are ordered to destroy all alien remains and data immediately. We can't risk contamination." Sarah's eyes widened. "Destroy it?" "Sir, we can find a cure." "Dr. Blake," Lawson interrupted, "our duty is to protect Earth. If that virus spreads, billions die. We cannot gamble on alien experiments." Ethan stood firm. "With respect, sir, the Velorians didn't bring death. They came seeking help. And we can save them." Lawson's expression hardened. "This isn't a discussion, Commander. If you refuse, I'll have your ship remotely deactivated and replaced by someone who will follow orders." The hologram vanished. Silence filled the lab. Marcus looked between them. "So what now? Do we follow orders or do what's right?" Ethan looked at Sarah, her eyes full of desperate hope, then back at Marcus. "We save them," he said simply. Sarah's voice shook. "But Earth Command." "I'll deal with Command later," Ethan said. "For now, we act like humans. We help." He turned to the ship's intercom. "Bridge, prepare for stealth mode. Set course for the Velorian remains." Hours later, the Horizon moved through the dark side of orbit, invisible to Earth scanners. The surviving Velorian mothership hung in the shadows like a dying star. Inside, weak life signals still flickered, aliens barely holding on. Ethan, Sarah, and Marcus suited up once again. The shuttle door opened, and they stepped into the vast alien chamber. Rows of Velorians lay inside glowing pods, their faint silver eyes opening as the humans entered. They looked terrified. One alien tried to speak, its voice cracked and metallic. "Please, stay away." Sarah knelt beside it. "We're not here to hurt you," she said softly. "We came to help." The alien blinked slowly. "Humans, help us." Ethan nodded. "You came to us for a reason. We understand now." He turned to Sarah. "Do it." Sarah pulled out a small injector filled with the human-based serum she created from Marcus's blood. She pressed it gently into the alien's arm. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the alien's body began to glow, first weakly, then brighter. Its breathing steadied. The blue lines of infection started fading. Sarah gasped. "It's working." Ethan smiled slightly. "Then let's save them all." They moved from pod to pod, giving each Valorian a dose. Some didn't respond. Others opened their eyes in silent awe, whispering thanks in their soft, musical language. Then a sharp alarm cut through the chamber. Marcus checked his comms. "Command found us. They're sending drones, armed ones." Ethan clenched his fists. "Of course they are." Within minutes, mechanical drones flew into the ship, weapons glowing red. "Unauthorized operation detected," the drones announced. Ethan drew his weapon. "Doctor, keep working." "Marcus with me." The drones opened fire. Blue plasma bolts filled the air. Ethan and Marcus returned fire, dodging between pods. The Valorians cried out in fear. One drone fired directly at Sarah. A blast of light streaked past her head, shattering a wall behind her. Ethan jumped forward, shooting it down before it could fire again. Smoke filled the air. The chamber glowed red from damage alarms. Marcus shouted over the noise, "We can't hold them off forever." Ethan grabbed the main console. "We don't need to. We just need to send the cure." He inserted the data drive into the ship's system. A massive beam of blue light shot up through the roof, broadcasting the serum formula to every surviving Valorian ship in orbit. Sarah watched the signal spread across the stars. "It's done." Ethan turned to Marcus. "Now we leave." They rushed back to the shuttle and escaped just as the drone's plasma fire tore through the chamber. Behind them, the Valorian mothership burned, but its signal continued pulsing outward. As the horizon pulled away, Sarah stared at the stars. "Do you think it's enough?" Ethan looked down at Earth glowing below. "It has to be." He tapped the comms and sent one final message to Earth Command. "We didn't destroy them. We saved them. Because that's what humans do." The horizon drifted in silence above the Earth. Below, cities sparkled like scattered jewels on a dark ocean. Inside, the crew was quiet, tired, uncertain, but proud. The transmission had gone out 2 hours ago. Every satellite, every hidden Valorian beacon, every signal in space all now carried the human-made cure. Commander Ethan Cole stood by the window, watching the blue curve of Earth rotate slowly beneath him. His reflection looked older now, lines of exhaustion and grief marking his face. The door slid open behind him. Dr. Sarah Blake entered, holding a tablet glowing with green lights. "It's spreading," she said softly. "Every Valorian ship is receiving the cure. Their life signs are stabilizing." "It's working, Ethan." He turned, a faint smile crossing his face. "We did it." She nodded, her eyes wet. "We saved them." But then her smile faded. "Command is furious. They're calling it treason." Ethan sighed. "Then I guess saving lives is a crime now." Lieutenant Marcus Hill joined them, still limping slightly but alive. "Doesn't matter what they call it. The Valorians are alive because of us. That's all I care about." Sarah looked out at the stars. "Do you think they'll forgive us?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "The Valorians?" She nodded. "No, Earth. For disobeying orders." He chuckled softly. "Maybe someday. When they understand what we really did." Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped. "Incoming transmission, unknown origin." Ethan frowned. "Put it through." A bright white symbol appeared on the main screen, the Valorian crest. Moments later, a holographic figure emerged, a tall, silver-skinned Valorian, radiant like starlight, eyes filled with calm grace. "I am Illyrian, speaker for the Valorian Unity," the alien said in a smooth, melodic voice. "We received your signal. Your cure saved millions of us." Sarah smiled in disbelief. You can speak English now? Illyrian nodded. We learned your language as we healed. You gave us time, and hope. Something our science could not create. Ethan stepped forward. We only did what was right. The alien tilted its head. Your world feared us. They called us invaders. Yet you risked everything to save us. Why? Ethan looked out the window for a moment before replying. Because that's what humans do when it matters. We fight, we argue, we make mistakes, but we don't walk away when someone needs help. For a moment, the Valorian said nothing. Then it bowed deeply, a gesture that shimmered with light. Then you have changed the course of two worlds, Illyrian said. We will never forget. The hologram flickered and disappeared. Marcus whistled quietly. Well, that's one way to make friends with aliens. Sarah smiled through tears. Not friends, she whispered. Family. Hours later, Earth Command's fleet arrived, massive gray ships surrounding the horizon. Ethan stood on the bridge, watching them approach. A message flashed on the screen. Earth Command, stand down and prepare for arrest. Sarah looked at him nervously. What are we going to do? Ethan took a deep breath. We face them. No running. He pressed the comm button. This is Commander Ethan Cole. The mission was a success. The threat is neutralized. The Valorians are no longer enemies. Admiral Lawson's voice came through, sharp and cold. You disobeyed direct orders. You endangered Earth. Ethan replied calmly, I saved Earth. And them. The virus is gone. You can confirm it yourself. Silence followed. Then Lawson spoke again, his tone softer now. Your transmission, we received reports from our deep space probes. The Valorian signals have changed. They're sending something back. Sarah's console beeped. He's right. Multiple Valorian ships, they're releasing energy fields around Earth's orbit. It's protective. Marcus grinned. They're building a shield. They're protecting us. Ethan smiled faintly. They feared us. But now, they trust us. 3 days later, Earth and the Valorians signed the first human-Valorian accord. A treaty built not on power, but on gratitude. News spread across the world. The aliens who once terrified humanity had become allies, healers, and teachers. On every screen, one image played again and again. A human hand and a Valorian hand reaching toward each other, glowing with shared light. That night, aboard the Horizon, the crew gathered one last time. They sat by the window, watching streaks of light rise from Earth ships carrying scientists and explorers toward Valorian space. Sarah leaned against Ethan's shoulder. Do you think they'll really remember us? Ethan looked up at the stars. Maybe not our names. But they'll remember what we stood for. Marcus smirked. That we broke every rule in the book. Ethan laughed. That we chose compassion over fear. Outside, the sky shimmered, hundreds of small stars lighting up like candles. Each one was a Valorian ship, sending a final pulse of light toward Earth, a message only they could understand. Sarah whispered, what does it mean? Ethan smiled. It means thank you. The ship hummed softly as it turned toward deep space. The crew watched the lights fade behind them, carrying the memory of what they had done. The day humanity stopped being the monster in the stars, and became the savior instead. Final line. They feared us until we saved them. And in saving them, we finally saved ourselves.